so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Freedom Network. We are live right here in the NCTV studios. Yes, we are live, taking your calls, taking your emails. I've got the emails up. I've got nothing but emails up. That's right, because tonight we're going to go a little bit local. Obviously, there was a town meeting last night. We're going to get into all that. I got a lot to say about that, and I fully intend to pour it all out there to you, if you will. I did want to, though, start the program today with a special call out to Dave Moradian, right? Here's a representative, someone that we elect to do for us, to speak for us, and at the very least to listen to us. And, you know, maybe if we're not in the majority of what a rep is getting, maybe the rep is going to go with the majority. I can't begrudge that. I won't go vote by vote. But I will tell you something, Dave. If I message him, he gets back to me. If I tag him in a post on Facebook, he makes sure to comment. If I send him an email, he gets back. He's involved. All right. Now he knows I'm a controversial guy. I get it, right? I'm controversial in politics, especially maybe locally. But you know what? I'm still a constituent of his. He respects that. And I had an issue where I wanted to get some state constitutions and start to talk about some of the Massachusetts, state violations of Constitution, if you will. We talk about the federal violations of Constitution all the time. And I had a hot tip from somebody that said that your rep might be able to get them for you. So I sent out a message, and you know what? Within, a couple of hours, the message comes back. Let me see what I can do. Within a day or two, I got you. You're all set. And saw him at the town meeting last night. Bam, he brings me a bag and a stack of Massachusetts constitutions. So thank you, Dave. I really do appreciate that. So what are we going to do with these? Well, we're going to give them away. That's what we're going to do with them. We're going to give them away. And I think that, to be honest with you, I know Jim, who's not here, I know he wants to be here. He could even be en route to the place, but at the end of the day, right now he's not here. I know he wants to part and put some mugs together, and I know he's got a thing going on, and I know that the time for those is very long, a lot longer than we thought, but they'll come. In any event, we're going to give away probably a mug with a Constitution. I had wanted to give them away with this, but it's not, the timing isn't always there. That's life in the big city. Timing isn't always there. But I do want to give these away. So what I want you to do is just for the first one that we'll give away, and we're going to do this through email, and you can call if you want to call as well. I want to know from you what your most important thing, all right, about freedom is. What do you think protects freedom the most? And when I find that answer that I either do agree with or can absolutely agree with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you this. I'll send it to you. I'll mail it to you, or I can meet you and we can grab it. If you're out and out of the state or far away listening online, you could certainly read through a Massachusetts Constitution. It's a very interesting Constitution, to be honest with you. It really and truly is. So I'd like for everybody to take a look at that. And what we don't give away through this way, we're going to give them away. Every week we'll give them away until they're gone. The goal is really, I want to get them in people's hands. And once that happens, I want you to read them. So if you're not going to read it, if you're not going to take a look at it, and then we'll obviously have some discussion and dialogue about it as the weeks progress. Don't forget, we're getting into the holiday season. I will be here literally as much as I can. I think through November, I'll only miss 1 week. So that's really good. We'll be here pretty much the whole rest of the way. So it's interesting. And I know the phone's ringing and emails are pouring in. I've been talking to people literally all day long. Before I take any calls, before I get to any emails or any of that stuff, I did want to jump ahead, and there's a lot of questions and a lot of things that were covered in the meeting, but I do want to get to the school proposal. Okay? So let me give you a little background. First of all, this is what I'm going to say to you. I wholeheartedly and completely am going to apologize. Yeah, I'm going to apologize to people for pushing some information that I really and truly believe to be misleading and wrong. And, you know, you get lulled into these things, I guess. They come up, they come at you. You want to believe, you want to trust. But that, in all honesty, isn't the case. And what I'm talking about is I'm talking about the cost of the school. And what that's going to mean as an impact to people as far as a bill, as far as what is it going to go up. I know we got someone hanging in there. Is that Barry on there? Yeah, all right. Barry, hang on a second, man, because I want to get to your data. So we had the school committee here on the show. I was able to make one of their meetings, which was really great. Got the info. I've been talking about on Facebook. I've been talking about it here with you, how it seemed to me that on an average valuation of $300,000, we were looking at what? About $500, somewhere, we'll call it in that vicinity. In any event, what I didn't know, as I was talking to many of you, was, and some people did know this, by the way, which almost makes me more aggravated, because why wouldn't everybody know if some people knew? Why wouldn't it be talked about? Why wouldn't we just start with the actual info? Is that this is a front-loaded interest loan, which is common. It's not that this is uncommon. It's not that this is underhanded in any way. That in and of itself is meaningless. And the actual cost to you, the math, based on what they said, okay, from the school committee, is absolutely, from what I can see, close or about right. It's about right, but they're estimating, so I get it. So I did all the math, right? And it's about right. So what's the problem? The problem is because it's front-loaded, that means that a bulk, or if not all of the interest, gets paid off first. And as the loan goes, it progressively will change in what you will pay. So Barry, who's on the line, will give us some of these numbers and some information. And I did get some numbers and information from some other people. Just give me a minute, Bear. What I learned was that when you front load this, the cost that they put up on the screen, that they put up all over the place, the cost really changes. Because instead of it being, you know, whatever it was going to be, $500 or whatever the number was, and I have the numbers here, but in all honesty, I don't care what the numbers exactly are. I care about just talking to you for a minute. You're talking a 35 maybe percent, maybe 40%. We'll find out when we get the data out here, and we can do the math together. I've done the math, but you're talking about a number that is not the number that they gave you. That's the reality. So if it was going to be $500, maybe it's going to be $800. And that's going to go on for, what, 10, 15 years, 12 years, I don't know, before it tips and goes the other way. And then eventually, in full disclosure, it will go less than the 500. Hence the word average, right? Average. They were giving you an average example. The problem is that myself, and mistakenly, obviously, but I know from talking to people now for the past, day and through last night, most people didn't realize that. They thought the average meant average, like it's an average. Like, so if you were at about 300 grand of a valuation, you would pay about the $500. You would pay it for 30 years, and then it goes away. Clean, simple, right, easy. Well, let's digest it. They did the whole cup of coffee thing, all that stuff, move forward, right? But that's not true. That is simply not true, because the first bill that you're going to get is going to be way more than what they told you your bill is going to be. So we're talking semantics, absolutely. But what the thing that really oh, if I could use some choice words right now, got under my skin, if you will, the thing that really blew me away was that the school committee sat here and floated numbers. They sat at meetings and floated numbers. Then they sat at the town meeting and floated numbers. But nobody in this town is getting a bill for the numbers that were projected or estimated or averaged. No one is getting that bill. Every single one of those bills is going to be higher. So why couldn't you just come clean and say what it was? It's like you math wizard this whole thing so that you could come out to the lowest possible number and then tell me it's a cup of coffee. Well, shame on me. There will never be another time that I will support a tax increase. I will not support this tax increase. I have absolutely no alternative plan because there isn't one. You pigeonholed us right into a corner with information that's false. That's what it is. It's false. Now, I'm getting pretty upset because I am pretty upset because my character then gets called into question. So what you did by floating crazy baloney numbers, okay, what you did by doing that is you hooked in people like me that are very anti-tax, and said, you know what, it is only X amount, and these are the numbers, and I believe the numbers, and let me talk to some people. Let me see what I can do. Well, I'm going to tell you that I couldn't even tell you the dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen, 4 dozen, and so on people that I spoke to that were vehemently against this, that said, you know, Gary, I guess if it's this amount, maybe I could figure this out. One person told me if I was for it and I was thinking about raising a tax, that if they had to, they would go get a 1-night-a-week job just to pay for it because it must be worth it. Which said to me that people believe what I say. They believe not what I say, in what I say. They believe in small government. They believe in low taxes. They believe in that intent of America, if you will. But maybe in this one case, maybe we should take a second look. You used me for that purpose, and you're never going to make me believe otherwise because you knew the day you put the numbers together exactly what they represented. Now, you can call in right here, and I'm fine with that. I am fine with that. But the end of the day, at the very end of the day, the bill that people think they're getting is not the bill that is coming. And everybody needs to know that. So I decided that today I'm going to tell you that. It's not the bill that you're getting. The example that was given at every meeting on this program and at the meeting last night, that number is not coming to you as an increase in a bill. A higher number is coming to you. And yes, in 15 years, hopefully you're alive, but in 15 years, if everything goes according to plan, you'll get to start to pay less. And at the end of 30 years, you'll pay an average of exactly what they told you. But don't put me out there bidding for your tax increase from the position in politics that I have without giving me all the damn info. And yeah, that's exactly who I'm talking to. I am beside myself. And this is why I always say, don't trust the government. The government, blah, 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 boo, right? This is why I tell you this all the time, because there's always a caveat. There's always a but. There's always a, well, you know, always. And I'm over it. I'm done with it. I don't care about it. The best you're going to get out of me is I might go to that ballot box and just not vote on the question. That is the best that you're going to get. There will be no yes vote from me. I will advocate for no yes vote. I will rescind any endorsement that anybody has thought that I have brought to this table of a new school. I don't endorse it. I have absolutely nowhere to tell you to go. We are absolutely screwed either way. Everything else that I've said is 100%, 100% I agree with it. But I'm not anybody's patsy. You're not going to put your fake news on my back and have me trot it out and not get called out on it. Because the bill you're suggesting is not the bill people are going to get. Sorry for getting so upset, but I really don't like it when people do things, manipulate me in a way to call my character into question, as it has been called into. So I apologize to every single person that's watching, whether you agreed or disagreed, whether you were yes or no, because the information I was giving you was wrong. The first bill you're going to get is not going to be it. This comes from Bob. Let us not forget that the increase amount isn't including all the other tax increases we are getting. Running costs, fire stations, road repairs, in the middle school with no reliable heat. Absolutely right. It is, and it's a pile-on. What the hell was I thinking? I'm going to get in bed with a... Live and learn, folks. Live and learn. Live and learn. Sorry, I have no answers. People have asked me already, so what's the alternative? I don't care what the alternative is. How's that? I don't care, because you made it personal, because you came on the Freedom Network and you told people one thing that's not true. You went on other programs and told people things that aren't true. You went to a meeting and told people things that aren't true. You went to a town meeting and told people things that aren't true. But you used the word estimated or average. That word average. Well, it is the average cost, Gary. People told me it is the average. Yeah, it is. You're right. You do the math. That's the average cost. But when you pull out your checkbook and you got to give a check to the town, that's not the money that you're going to be giving them. Hopefully, if you're alive in 15 or 20 years or whatever the hell the number is when it's going to bend the other way. So who brought this all to light? How did this come to light? It didn't come to light from the government. It didn't come to light from the school committee. It didn't come to light from the selectmen. And in all honesty, you know what? It didn't come to light from the finance committee either, who I have big praise for, to be honest with you, later in the show. But it didn't. Nobody went out and said it in a forum basis that I saw, and nobody corrected me. And this is what drives me nuts. Nobody corrected me as I was out there in public on Facebook getting likes from people in the school committee on false information. I'm not going to read that on the air, but I can't say I disagree with you. I'm just beside myself because the one time I put my trust in that government, the one time I said, hey, maybe we oughta, is the one time that I look like a moron. So thanks for that. But to my viewers and my Facebook compadres and the people that I've talked to via email, I do want to apologize to you. I was wrong. It's no excuse that I had bad information. But the bill I told you were getting, the bill the school committee told you were getting, the bill that the entire town government seems settled on, ain't coming. It's going to be bigger. And this is where we're going to bring in the caller who actually brought this to light last night. And I'd love a close-up if I can. I can't now. But of the faces. You should have seen the faces of all the people assembled at the front of the room. Maybe not so much a finance committee. I got to give them a little bit of a pass. They really have impressed me the past couple of years. They really have. I got to be honest. But you should have made that public. You should have corrected me. Somebody should have corrected somebody. Because the info wasn't real. Let's bring on the caller here now. Look, I'm saying let's bring him on. I got to bring you on, my friend. Hang on one second. We'll get you right on in here. All right, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Gary, and good evening, Gary. I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to thank NCTV and everything you do. And I'm very sad for our town tonight, Gary. And I'm very disheartened also because, like you, I put my trust into the people that were giving us the information, and I gave it to some of my friends and who were on fixed incomes, and they were trying to put some money aside, and they went by, like you said, that $558 average, and how this came to light was one of them called the town and found out that where you getting that 558? I just found out that it's going to be $781 the first year for a house valued at $301,000. So I said, "Oh my goodness, that must be wrong. That's not what I was led to believe." And like I said, at all those meetings, they would say, on average, it was $558. So anyway, so I talked to I emailed a town official, and they said that $558 was an average of a 30-year term, and but it was never really explained to that, and they had to do they're going to be doing what's called the front load interest, and which makes it significantly higher. And again, as you alluded to, Gary, there was town officials at all these meetings, and they could have brought this up, but all you heard was crickets, and they led people, I think, down a blind road to believe that $558 a year figure. And a lot of these people, like same as you, that I knew that were, really going to put some money aside, try to do things, and they saw the need of the school. They are besides themselves now, and they are never going to trust this government again. And it's a shame. And I'll go over some brief numbers.
Go ahead, man.
For the viewers out there. So if you have a house valued at $201,000, the first year now is going to be $522 a year. The second year is going to be $512 a year. The third year is going to be $502. The fourth year is going to be $492, and the fifth year is $582. I'll just do the first 5 years. For a house valued at $301,000, the first year is going to be $781, $766 for the second year, $751 for the third year, $736 for the 4th year, and $721 for the 5th year.
Now that was the example that they gave, was a 301,000, correct?
Right. They used it at a 301,000, but
and they floated a bill in in any year. Actually, they implied that it would be every year over year. But they had put a number out there in the low fives, mid fives, right?
Right. That was, but when I brought this up, they said that that's out of a 30-year average extrapolated out of the 30-year term, and also the caveat to that, Gary, is that that's based on a 4.5% interest rate, which my confidence level is not high that they're going to get that 4.5%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another factor. And let me just do for a house that's valued at $400,000, the first year is $1041, the second year is $1021, the third year is $1001, the fourth year is $981, and the fifth year is $961. And the town manager alluded last night that doing this front load option saves the town $7.7 million. But if that's correct, where is that savings going? Is the town going to borrow less, not borrow that $7 million, bring in
Who the hell knows?
the cost of the school down? That was not
I don't
mentioned.
know. I don't know. No, who knows what they'll put it in the free cash account probably.
Right, or somebody's draw. So, and and the other thing too is, like I said, that is all based on a 4.5% interest rate. And years ago, they were looking at a DPW in town, and they said it was going to be $8 million, and the voters turned it down, and we got one for $2.1 million. So maybe there's going to have to be some recalibration on this, and maybe the Chevy Impala model or the Honda Accord model may have to come into play. And
something.
I mean, I know something has to be done, but
something does. I mean, we're
slighted the trust of the taxpayers.
We're screwed. That's what it is. I mean, either you're going to pay the rate, or you're going to pay the rate. Either way, what you get for what you're going to pay is going to be completely different. I mean, my opinion doesn't really change on the fact of the matter. It's the principle of it. It's the way that it was went about. Just say that it's going to say that it's going to start out more expensive, and actually it's going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper as time goes on. That would have been a selling point to me. But instead, you let people go out and do your bidding based on a number that's not coming. I mean, what year do you pay on the 301 the $550 they said you were going to pay? How many years in?
The 16th year, Gary.
16 years. So you give me a number to push, right? They're giving us a number to push that's 16 years away. Oh, I can't even. I am so. Oh,
And then like you say, there's a lot of seniors. There's a lot of seniors and people with some health issues. They'll never see. They may never see those 15 years of savings.
no.
And so it's tough luck to those people.
It is, and they did do that other exemption, which I thought was fantastic. That we raised the exemption on the seniors from $500 to $1,000. In theory, to I would think cover the cost of that, but now it doesn't even cover the cost of it. What if there's a senior citizen living in a $687,000 valued home? Then what?
Plus, Gary, the qualifications on that tax abatement is so strict. There's only 19 that qualify for it now, or are taking advantage of it. So,
19.
I mean, it is something better than nothing. But
Yeah, but it's still no. You're right. It's feel good crap. That's all it is. It's feel good crap.
I know.
All right.
And then there was the heckling of the other person. Maybe the town moderator didn't hear that, but
yes,
that's something too that.
I was going to bring that up actually. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. You're spot on that as well, and it just goes and shows the mentality of the whole the whole thing around this tax increases. Listen, I want to tell you something. I am so thankful that you brought this to light. I don't care about the blank looks on the faces that were at the front of the room. What you did is you stood up and you told people the truth. And we all owe you a thanks for that. I have had many complimentary emails and messages about you. People don't even know who you are. And thank you for doing what you did, because you brought a lot to light. You showed people what some reality was. And I can tell you from looking at the faces up there, they didn't know what the hell to say. All they could do was get you the hell away from that mic, man.
Right, my pleasure, Gary. And yes, I was told my questions were limited. And thank you very much, Gary. And I appreciate everything you do. And stay safe and stay well.
You too, my friend. You too. You're an absolute hero in my mind. Absolute hero. Marianne sends in, hey, Gary, I'm not, in caps, in favor of big government. Never have been. But, again, in caps, when it comes to local government, we do have to recognize that we need to have some way to fund services required to run the town. So, if you will never vote for a tax increase, how do you propose to fund local services? Keep in mind, I'm not a tax and spend voter, never have been. There's a little more here, but let me take it as we go. I will never vote for another tax increase because of the fact that I was used as a tool to mislead people on this tax increase. I am a realist. I understand what you're saying. You're not wrong, but higher taxes aren't going to be the way to go. Now, things that I might entertain is some debt exclusions. I would support a fire station. I would support that. Those folks really do need that. I would support something with the schools, but not with the people that are running the game right now. Just isn't going to happen, Marianne. I'm sorry. And we'll get to our caller in 1 second. Keep in mind, I'm not a tax and spend voter, never have been. The schools are falling apart. They absolutely are. So why not be honest about what's going on? Why the little games? Because we're in a situation where we're really in a bad situation. So let's lie about it. That's what it is to me. It's a lie, because you looked me in the face and said it's $550 and it's $800 plus bucks. I can't even believe it. Oh, by the way, how do you propose, do we repair these? I don't know. Marianne, I think I told you this online today. I don't have any answers. I floated the ideas of regional schools. Many towns use regional school systems. Many of them do. It brings the burden to several towns as opposed to one. I couldn't even get the time of day on that. As a matter of fact, when I watch a tape of the show when I had the school committee on, I could get so incensed right now. You have no idea. And it's not at you, Marianne. It's just about the things that flash back that I was told that just simply aren't reality. Despite the vote last night, I don't believe this will pass on the 6th, judging solely based on what happened in the past regarding school funding initiatives. And what happened in the past, Marianne, is that they didn't think that they were truthful with them. Amazing, isn't it? All righty. This comes out from Rich. Go get him. You got it, man. I'm gonna go get him because I ain't letting this go. Sorry, not gonna happen. Let's see here. But they voted yes. This is Marianne again. But Gary, even after the info was revealed, people still voted yes because you had a stacked house there. They would have voted yes if it was $38,000 a minute. They were going to vote yes. You stacked a room with hundreds and hundreds of people, and you brought it out. So you're going to hopefully realize the same, I guess, when you go to the polls. But you were looking at a controlled environment. I mean, I can see the people that were there, right? Good people, great people. See, that's the whole thing. I don't even know if people really realized everything that was going on, but even if they did, people don't care because it's such a necessity. And I get that. And if it wasn't made personal, if it wasn't brought into my orb, then I would feel a little bit differently about it. But you came to my house. You came to my house. And you told lies. And you had me tell lies. You had me telling people that they were going to get a bill with their house. Just talked to a guy a week ago. House's valuation from the town was $292, I think, $1,000. And I'm convincing this guy it's only going to cost him $500. He's getting an $800 bill. That's what gets me crazy. Not the thing of the school. And you're not going to whitewash it through saying, well, we need it anyway and this and that. So just go along to get along. Not happening. Not going to happen. Let's see. This comes from Bill. Gary, just a quick correction on the current caller. When the $8 million suggestion for a DPW came up, the BOS never let the vote go to the town meeting or ballot. The BOS squashed it before any of us could vote for or against. Well, typical, I guess, right? Typical. All right, Marianne, one last shot here, and then we get to the phone. At first, I didn't know if I agreed with your reaction, but in caps, the more I watch you and listen, I see your point now, and I am angry too. Marianne, I am too, and I don't want to be a catalyst to defeat this thing that I know is needed. At the same time, you came to me. I came to you. You came to me as a town, as the school committee. And I went to meetings, and I'm sitting there, and I'm telling people, no, this is what you got. This is what you got. This is what it's going to be. You can afford it. You can do it. I told you already. I had a guy willing to get a part-time job based on what you said. And if you knew that I was wrong, why were you liking the comments on Facebook? Why were you doing that? All right, I got to go to the caller, and then we'll get back. I got a bunch of emails, but this caller has been patiently waiting. Whether they want to agree or disagree, always all opinions welcome. Good evening. You're on the Freedom Network.
Well, Gary, you know, they
Oh!
thought I was crazy when I used to call Joe Struzula a con man. Well, who's laughing now?
Listen, what the hell's happened to you? It's great to hear your voice. How you been?
Good.
Good. Yeah, this is a tragedy.
We have a difference of opinion. My co-host thinks that everybody wants to talk about the town all the time.
Oh, all right.
There's some ethics problems, so I just decided to step away.
A domestic dispute. Well, I hope you come back at some point. You know, we don't have to always agree, but you added a lot of color and flair to the place, you know?
Well, yeah, but see, now you get the straight department line now.
Oh, let me tell you,
So,
I feel you, man.
I told you the school
You
department
did.
was a fraud, the school committee. Yike, Mike for schools, yikes for fools. And Joe Struzula is a con man. He always has been.
You know,
By the way, I want to thank Barry, and I think the person he was referring to is, yes, Shelley Bulma.
Absolutely.
I would love to thank Shelley Bulma for exposing this fraud.
can you believe?
Of Northbridge.
Can you believe? And this is something I was just going to get into. I'm glad you mentioned it. I'll send you a check. Good segue. She went up and she wanted to speak, and she was speaking against us. Now, whether we agree, whether I agree, whether you agree, it doesn't matter, right? She's at a town meeting. She's trying to speak, and here comes the yes crowd, if you will, with what I've warned about all along with trying to raise taxes in this town.
We know.
With the hissing, the booing, the thising, and then there's the moderator. Nobody does nothing. The next thing you know, she's shuffled off. You're all set, and off you go.
Listen, we've knocked heads over the years. I've not always agreed with her, but I'll tell you what, when she's right, and she's 100% right.
She is right.
I'm urging all the parents from the kids at the Christian school, the Dutch people, and all the people who are getting screwed. They had that place packed with 500. I figure all we need is 500 to 700 no votes, and we can wipe this sucker right off the face of the earth. So I'm asking you to get out and let's put this fraud to bed and vote it no. And by the way, next time you see the superintendent stick me with the bill, ask her about, hey, how did the district do in the MCAS test? They failed. They didn't even pass the state. Level. While Sutton and Douglas are blowing us off.
You know, and a new building ain't going to help that.
It ain't. And then they're going to be coming for the middle school. Don't forget, folks. Let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
Dr. Obama would have voted no. He was not an extravagant man. Dr. Obama would vote thumbs down. I'm out.
See you, buddy. Thanks. There he goes. Just like that. He's in, he's out. He's on TV, he's off TV, he's on the phone, he's not. Thanks for calling in. Glad you're out there. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't disagree. I do get a little, I'm not into, I don't need the name calling and all that stuff, right? To me, but you know, to me that's personal, but it was made personal. Again, you let me put my name, my back on it. I sat here saying I'm 60, 70% in favor of raising taxes. What an idiot I am. I'm an idiot. All right, couple emails, and we'll get right back onto the phones. Oh, it's from Pam. She's trying to reach out. Yeah, she's down at the Valley Pub, one of my favorite haunts. Love it down there. It's very loud. They're doing a music thing, I think. Is it steak night too? It's probably steak night. So they're eating steak, listening to music. They can't put on the Freedom Network, obviously. It's too loud in there. But thanks for trying. Hopefully you catch it on the replay. Hopefully you catch it on the replay. All right, let me get Laura. Let's see. They came to all of us, Gary, and lied, and we were all duped. Tell them about $20 million Marlboro saved on MSBA core model school savings, which she says, which jerks would not apply to. School committee, a bunch of jerks. All right, and again, Laura, I don't disagree with you, and I want to explore this. I don't know whether they did or they didn't. I'm as mad as I am. I'll own my own comments, but I don't want to. You know, this is what you provoke. This is what happens when you're just not truthful with people. And the funny thing is, if you were up front with it, we'd be doing a show about the Constitution and the Second Amendment today. Sorry. Let's run back on the phone lines here and see. I don't know if it's an agree or a disagree, but all opinions always welcome. You're next on the Freedom Network.
Hey, Gary, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, I'm not surprised. They do this all the time. You haven't been in town that long?
No, I've only been in town, I guess, about 12 years or so.
They did this once. They wanted equipment. They said they needed equipment. Come to find out they already bought the equipment. They just wanted to get the money back. So.
I don't know all the ins and outs. I guess I was, well, like the person said, it's like I do. I feel like I was duped. That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm out there telling people.
The way they do business. But the thing is, this board and this town manager, I think, have really gone along with it.
And I couldn't hear you. The town manager's good. You like the town manager?
No, it's gone along with this cover-up, I think.
Well, I mean, I think, were you at the meeting last night?
No, I just read about it in the Telegram.
Yeah, I was there, and I was looking as Barry was reading at the faces up at the front, and I couldn't see them all, but the ones I saw were like this. And the next thing you know, Barry shuffled. He's gone. Oh, don't bring any reality to the table.
Well, I know I watch the selectmen's meetings, and they have had people in that are for it. I've never seen anyone against it. But
that's interesting.
This is why I'm like Paul. I support nothing they want because they do this all the time.
Oh, it's just sad.
They won't find it out, you know.
It's just sad, you know, like they say though. You know, the only way I guess to learn that fire is hot is it burns you. Well, it burns, baby. It burns. I won't be playing with fire again. That's for damn sure.
How come no one's called from the school board tonight?
I don't know. They're more than welcome to call. More than welcome to
Have someone
call.
on- Would you have someone on?
I absolutely did. I had them both on. I had Joe and
So would
Mike
you have
on right in.
again?
Yeah, of course.
Possibly?
Absolutely. More than welcome. Come right on in. You come right on in anytime. You can call me on the phone tonight. They can book it in. Just they know how to get a hold of me. They want to come on, they can
Well,
be on.
If they don't, you've got your answer.
There you go. You're right.
Hey, good job. Good
Thanks,
night.
bud. I appreciate it. Bye now. Thanks for all the calls and emails. Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely, positively crazy. This is craziness. It's craziness. I don't know. I mean, you know, I guess it's one thing, right? I guess it's one thing if it was a disagreement on the amount or how to do it. And I know that we had a lot of dialogue back and forth about, is it too extravagant? Could we possibly not have it? Could we scale it down? What are the other options? And they're all valid points. But I kept on going and saying, no, this is the best, this is the best, this is the best. All while they're sitting there laughing, probably saying, and oh God, let's run back real quick onto the phones. As I always say, agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. You are next on the Freedom Network. How are you?
Hi, Gary. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
No, Gary, I don't think I'm smart enough to understand some of this, to be frank with you. I do want to ask you one quick question, though. An
course.
information package was sent out to us.
Yeah.
And in that package, it compared and contrasted our effective tax rate to other towns in the area. Was that information correct, do you think?
I think my best educated guess is going to be that it was averaged with everything else. So if it was averaged with everything else, it probably is kind of correct. It's probably not correct for 30 years, but it's probably correct over 30 years. That's probably the best answer I can give you. I don't know. I don't have if I had it's time to sit with a calculator, I could figure it out for you. But I think that amount is probably an averaged amount. So when they say it was what was it, $1.80 something or something like that?
Yeah.
Per thousand?
So,
That's
I have a
probably,
suggestion for those that are in favor of this, and I'm certainly not averse. If it makes more sense to build a school than repair it, then that makes sense.
Mhm.
But what I'd like them to do if they wanted to pass is very simple, Gary. You just open up a phone bank where people can call and say, okay, here's what my tax bill is right now. What will it be next year and the year after, and so on.
yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
And that way, when people know what the reality is,
Mhm.
can make an informed judgment.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that would be a great idea. Let's get the info to people. I'm going to tell you, I'm still of the opinion that it's probably a better way to go about it than fixing what we have. But when you throw in principle into anything, they failed miserably. They just failed miserably. And I'm not going to stand out and support that, and I'm not giving them a pass on it. I'm not going to do it.
No, I don't blame you, and I'm glad that you're out there and people like you are too, Gary. But that's my challenge to them, to do what I suggested so we can know what the hell we're deciding.
Sounds fair to me, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night. I mean, at what point do you think that, so if Barry hadn't stood up and said that, and everything goes through, and you're sitting there, and you get your tax bill, and it's $850 as opposed to $550, just round it off. You're gonna say to me, Gary, what's up, man? You told me that this is what it was. Excuse me, and I'm gonna say, well, that's what I was told it was. I'm gonna tell you something. Barry is he's the catalyst that got a ball rolling, and we can't forget that. And of course, we had Shelley, who stood up, who was snickered and booed away, and off she went. I mean, I'm so disappointed in myself. All right? That's why I started off the show with an apology. I'm so disappointed in myself for allowing myself to not really, and I should have asked the questions, but like I always say, I'm a commentator. I'm not an investigative reporter. All right? I'm a commentator. I talk about politics. That's what I do. That's what I do, right? That's what I do here on this program, is I just comment on politics. People bring me info. I'd like to think that I could believe the info. I'd like to, and I don't believe the info from the government, but for some reason, I believe these guys, man. I really believe that this was going to be the cost. And for this to be the cost over this amount of time, and when you also consider the appreciation values, which there are some statistics on that, not a lot of very good supporting statistics, to be honest with you. But the fact of the matter is, a good and healthy school isn't in and of itself what makes your taxes, your value of your home go higher. What I learned today in research is not needing to make a school that is modern and current and is all set is what really lifts the value of your home. Meaning, you move into a town like Northbridge that, let's say, doesn't have a good school system. And I don't mean a system as far as the education. I mean as far as the buildings and stuff. So don't fly off the handle. Although, according to Paul, we can't pass the MCAS. I don't know what that's all about. We'll have to get into that. I guess we're gonna have to look into everything now, right? That's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to turn a little bit local and take at least, I won't take a whole show every time. I know that there's some guys out there. I've gotten some emails. Yeah, I've had stuff like this in my town too. One actually from our Texas viewer about the local governments misleading people. And I know that there's some people that love, but there are points where I got to turn the show local, and this is one of those points. I absolutely, positively am going to just stay on the record as I am a non-participant 100%. There is no yes vote coming from me. It's not coming from me. Does that mean it could hurt the town? It does. But you know what? That's not on me. That's on the people that misled me. And if they didn't willingly mislead me, which I believe they may not have, right? Maybe you just took right for granted that I would know that that's what you meant. Okay. But when you saw me out there floating it and supporting it and making, number equations with people, why'd you like the posts? Because you did, and I can go back and tag you in them if you want me to. Let me jump back on the phones. Agree or disagree? You're next on the Freedom Network. Good evening.
Hi, Gary. How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Entertaining show.
Thank you.
An interesting show. Quick suggestion. I'll get off the phone because I know it's getting late. Why don't you invite Barry and Miss Bumer?
Yep.
Come on next week.
Invited. How about that? You just did it. Barry, Shelley, you want on? I'd love to have you here.
Both will come on and let them give a side that apparently hasn't been shown yet.
I absolutely am for that, and I would. I've given the school committee time on the show. I'm not going to back away from what I said before. They're more than welcome to come on anytime. But yes, the opposition should be on. I've asked for them to come on. I have asked for them to come on. The opposition, but there is no real galvanized opposition that I know of anyway that I could reach out to. So I've just been asking on the program here, and I haven't gotten any response. But Shelley, if you're out there, and I don't know if you are or not, and obviously anybody else, you're right. The caller's absolutely right. Come on next week. I will open the slot for people that want to come on and discuss this on either side. And let's bring some facts and let's have it out. I'm the game.
Yeah, I was going to say you've given the schools more than enough time, more than enough opportunity, and I'd have to say I am a little perturbed that someone from the schools or from the school building committee hasn't called the show and tried to correct something or explain something or defend something. It doesn't look too good.
No, it doesn't, because I think, to be honest with you, it's reality. I think they would have tried to correct it right at the meeting maybe, but they didn't, and that's what told me that's when I went off the deep end. I mean, I'm driving home last night, screaming in my car, pissed off. I don't know, can I say that? I can.
You can.
Good, because I just did. I hope it was I. But yeah, I was really mad, and I went to bed, and I wake up this morning, and I'm still mad. I'm driving to work. Now I'm at work. It's starting to creep in my mind while I'm doing my job, and I'm like, you know what? I'm out. This is it. I did reach out in full disclosure. I did reach out to the school committee today, and I did let them know that I would be talking about this tonight, and that I was very upset and why I was upset. So I would agree with you. The phone lines are open, the email's open. You know where the studio is. If you dispute any of this, say it.
Well, all I can say is Barry and Shelley, hopefully next week when I turn Gary on, I'll see you two on there. So, Gary,
You got
have
it.
a good night.
Thanks,
you.
my friend. You too. I appreciate the call very much. And Shelly, Barry, love to have you on. If you guys want to come on, you let me know. You know how to get a hold of me. I think both of you do. I know Barry has my contact information now, and Shelly, I have a new email. If you're out there, don't use that old email that we had used in the past. Use the Constitution for Freedom, gmail.com. It's been a little bit of a lively show. I get it. I know it. And I don't mean to monopolize one talk. There was so much that went on. There was so much that went on at the meeting. There was the exemption that was passed for the seniors. So that's going to happen, I think, now no matter what. Or if it's on the ballot, I got to go back and look. My mind got so jumbled with this thing here. The marijuana stuff all passed. Everything passed. They waived reading the entire marijuana thing, but it all passed. So if you're in favor of the marijuana stuff, you're a happy guy. Even the dispensary got its nod. There was just so much, so much. But I just was really upset at the tone when Shelley was up there. I didn't like that. And I'm going to be honest with you. At the onset, when we first walked in the building, I would have said I disagreed with Shelley, right? And when I walked out of the building, I was saying, Jesus, she 110% right. You know, she's right. In my opinion, she's right. And it's very interesting. It's just very, very, very interesting. You know, this... we talked about they had to extend the session. I mean, it was very dramatic. It was a very dramatic meeting. It was very dramatic. You ever see? No, you probably haven't seen the movie. Anyway, they passed over a few of them toward the end, and then this is another thing I don't get about the school project. See all this stuff? This was in the actual handout, right? In the handout. So this was part of the booklet. But this Article 8, which is a rezoning for a marijuana facility, they had to give their handouts separately, to the point that people, I think the moderator, which I thought was very nice of the moderator, had the tellers actually hand these out at the beginning of this, or towards the middle, maybe a little bit late, but I think he realized maybe they don't have all the info. Why wasn't this in the book? This doesn't make the book? I know there's a big crusade, right? Let me really aggravate everybody, right? I know Charlie's on a big crusade from the school committee to just eliminate any marijuana in the town. Charlie, the people voted for it. All right? The people voted for it. You got to get over it, man. People said yes. They said yes statewide. They said yes locally. They said yes locally. Last night they said yes locally. What are you doing? This is your crusade, your big crusade. What are you out there crusading to get rid of liquor stores? Are you out there crusading to get rid of bar rooms? What's the big deal, man? You know, it's to me, the people speak, you listen. This is what I was saying online, and I know it drives you nuts when I say it. I know it drives the whole government nuts when I say, you work for the people. We speak, you act. We tell you what to do. What don't you get? What I don't get what people don't get about that. So I think as a citizen, you should... Charlie, do what you want to do, right? If you want to crusade against pot and all that stuff, but don't show up at meetings and say, I'm the Board of Selectmen member, and this is what I think. Or I'm a Board of Selectmen member, and I'll never support any marijuana or anything. The people spoke. What are you going to do? It doesn't matter if you and I may agree 100%. Charlie, we may agree, and we may both think that this is a bad idea for the town. We don't need it. Let's get revenue elsewhere, whatever the case may be, right? We could be lockstep in agreement. But in an official capacity, your job is to do what the people tell you to do. Plain and simple. The people spoke. Yes, it's a representative situation, but we have an initiative petition process. In Massachusetts, one of 26 states that have what's called an initiative petition process. What that does is it circumvents representative Republic, America, and Massachusetts. It circumvents that. It takes your opinion out. And it tells you from the citizen what to do. So what are you going to stand in the way for? Now, as a citizen, you can stand in the way. I get it. And I respect your opinion as a citizen. I don't as a politician. You were told what to do, you should do it. School committee, I'm beside myself. Next week, hopefully, we'll be able to continue the conversation. We got the next show coming on? He's here. The man is here. So we will have some local talk. I'm sure it will continue. Keep the emails going into him or the phone calls, however he wants to get them. This has been the Freedom Network. Sorry we're a bit on edge tonight, but yeah, we'll see you next week.
Because we are the prey. Yes, we are the prey. We'll fight you in the name of the prey. We are the US of A. For those